What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about 6 different Grayscale trusts today. We're going to talk about BCHG, LTCN, Mana, GLNK, HZEN, and ETCG. We're going to breeze through the first few, maybe even the first 4 because we've talked about those recently, and we're going to talk about HZEN and ETCG at the end. We might go a little bit more in depth, okay, especially on that last one. So hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Let's get into it. Okay, so I have some explaining to do. The last video that I made was about a week ago, a little bit over a week ago, on the 5th there. It's the 13th now of March, and I said the time has come in reference to this being the low, in reference to us not going lower than this, and that was back when I expected Bitcoin Cash to not go lower. But let's be real, you guys. Let's be frank, or just be ourselves, whoever you want to be. I don't care. But if we do go lower with Bitcoin Cash, BCHG will likely go lower as well, right? Today, or yesterday, I should say, Bitcoin Cash dropped 7.8%, BCHG dropped 10.3%. Likely, if Bitcoin Cash drops down, Bitcoin Cash Grayscale Trust is going to drop lower. I'm anticipating that Bitcoin Cash, and I made a video today talking about it, I think that we will go at least to 260, at least to $260, which would mean at least a 20% drop. If not, I'm really expecting 230 to come online, and that is about a 29% drop. And then if not, we could go as low as like $200, $220, 32%, maybe even a 40% drop, something like that. If BCH has that kind of potential to drop, I can only assume that BCHG has more potential to drop. Okay, so we should look at some relative fibs to the downside. Low to high, Grayscale, you guys are getting beat up, man, and it sucks. It really sucks, but it's just the state of the markets right now, unfortunately. Finding support at the golden ratio, finding resistance at the 1272. Likely your next target area would be the 1886 to 200 zone right here. If we're looking at this price, that would be about what we would expect to see, to be completely fair. If Bitcoin Cash goes to where I think it's going to go, which personally I think it will go right to about 230, that's a 30% drop, which would make me think that BCHG drops more. Now, does it go all the way down to the 2272? Maybe. Does it stop at the 1886? Maybe. It could drop tit for tat with Bitcoin Cash. It doesn't have to go lower. You know, maybe Bitcoin Cash drops about 30%, and then this thing drops an overall 36%, something like that. But I would think anywhere from $1.96 to $1.77 is possible, with the low target being about $1.38. Okay, I'm very, very confident that this is going to happen. Just because I'm confident in that does not mean that it has to happen. I can absolutely be wrong. Like that's ever happened before, I know, but it could happen. I know, first time for everything. It could go down this low, if not lower. So it's something we should prepare for. Genuinely, I know how crazy that sounds, but you could see a 50% drop in this thing. If Bitcoin Cash can drop 40% ish, just under 40%, I would assume that this thing can drop just under 50%, and maybe even beyond that still. So I'm thinking $1.38 at the most to the low, $1.96 at a minimum to the low. You're at $2.78 now. Okay. Lower to go. We're going to talk about LTCN now, right? LTCN, let's go. Of course, all these Grayscale trusts are still due to see new all-time highs, I think. I think literally all of them are. The only one that I have questions on is LTCN, but it depends on how hard LTC pumps, and it also depends, I think, on the ETF approval or not, which sounds like it's getting pushed back. I doubt we get an LTC ETF, but you never know, guys. From a low here to a high there, I'm anticipating that Litecoin probably drops less than Bitcoin Cash does, probably. It normally holds up better on these drops than BCH does, but not always. Not always. Let's just see, something. What would make the most sense? Let me look at a weekly basis here. Let's take an overall low to high and get a retracement there. Golden ratio sounds about right to me, man. 14% drop to 20% drop holds up better than Bitcoin Cash. Drops a little bit more than Bitcoin. I could see that. So if it drops 14 to 20%, let's just say 20% to make it absolutely terrible. 20%. LTCN dropped 6% today. LTC dropped 3% today. Oh, that's not a good look, is it? So if LTC drops 21%, LTCN might drop 40% in that same kind of light. If it drops 21%, I would at least assume LTCN to do something very common with the 1414, which is wick through it. But you don't have to drop 21%. I would more likely think that you stop somewhere in between this area. So I really do like for LTCN something at about $6 as a primary area of support, first contact, if you were to find a lower price, and I think you will. The 1618, I like that as a holding area. I don't think you go lower, but you could. something between $6 and $5.16 is what I would expect. Probably just below $6 right there at about $5.95, $5.90. If you were to go lower, and I don't think that you go to $4, but it's possible, I suppose. It's something that we should address, but I don't accept it as a reality. I accept it as a possibility. What I do accept as reality is a $6 to $5.16 price. Okay, that's what I accept. Again, LTCN I think will see its all-time high area again. Will it break above it or not? That just depends on how well Litecoin performs. Okay. ETF or not, I think that LTCN can get back to these all-time highs. And I suppose without an ETF, that would actually be more of a cause to believe that we do see new all-time highs. But inevitably, it's going to happen. Unfortunately, we just have lower to go. We'll see who capitulates at this point. But yeah, looking to, and I don't think we're going to drop that low, right? Again, I don't think it's going to be a 46% drop. But something that's on the lines of a, just under 20% drop to maybe right around a 30% drop for LTCN is on the way. We look at Mana here, breezing through them, I know. Mana, Grayscale Trust versus Mana, the crypto. I also believe that this crypto is going to drop as well, but I have laid it out that I think Mana could hold up better than most of the coins that we've been talking about, right? I don't know if it has to go to prices below this. I have a hard time. I shouldn't say that. I don't have a hard time seeing it not drop like too much more than Bitcoin. So a 20% drop could be all it's due for. If Bitcoin drops 10%, maybe Mana drops 13% or 12%, or it drops the same amount. It doesn't even have to see a lower low than this. But if you were to double bottom, that's a 15% drop. If you were to double bottom with this overall low, that's a 21% drop. I'm fine with that notion. Mana today on the crypto was up 0.37%, where today on the Grayscale Trust you were actually down 1.6%. So again, dropping a little bit more than the price does. But it's nothing that's too crazy. Let's see. Let's look at this low to high here. If Mana were to drop, let's just say 20%. Yeah, I mean, this could drop 40%. It absolutely could. I know this one has less liquidity in it than most of these Grayscale Trusts do. You can tell it has low liquidity because just look at all the gaps, all the jumping around, right? A lot of liquidity on the downside, it looks like. Even on this pump here on the upside a little bit, but not in these boring times, that's for damn sure. I could see you dropping down to $3.60. You don't have to, but I would say between $3.60 and a 20% drop from here, that would be what I expect. So $3.60 to about $4.80, that's what I would think is going to happen. So a little bit less of a refined range, in my opinion, but something in that area. I guess they're all like a 20 to 40% drop if you really think about it. I'm not meaning for it to be that way, but that's just what I accept to happen. It's mainly because I think that these trusts will drop more than their underlying assets do, right? But in turn, they will pump more than the underlying assets as well. Whenever it's time, they will. From a high to a low, and assuming that we do go lower, I'm just going to put it like right here, just a little bit lower. You've got new all-time high targets at 141, 347, and beyond. I absolutely expect Mana Grayscale Trust to see some crazy, crazy growth, you guys. This one really could be a winner by the end of the cycle, but I don't think that it stops here. I do think you have lower to go, but in no time at all, you'll be recovering. I think April, May, and maybe even June, but April and May, I think are going to be very phenomenal times for all of these Grayscale Trusts, especially Mana, I would think, and GLNK, probably HZEN and ETCG as well. GLNK, moving right on, also probably going to go down. I'm expecting that Link is not going to be absolved of this downward sloping price action that we're going to see across the space. Bitcoin drops 10 to 13%. Link will probably drop, I would think, somewhere around there. Let's see. Let's look at this pivot from a low to a high. You're at the 1618 to the 100, down to the 1886, back to the 1618 for resistance. Definitely respecting this fib here. I would think you go down to your 2272. That's the next logical area. And if Bitcoin drops about 10 to 13%, Link drops about 20%, I could see that happening. Yesterday, Link pumped 2.6%. GLNK yesterday pumped 5%. So moving up more, it probably moves down more too. So we're going to run with the same idea. If Link moves down 20%, GLNK would at least move down 20%, if not likely move down more. So 30% is probably a good minimum to have there. At about $20. Let's see if we can take this relative low to this relative high right there. Nope, that's not it. Relative low to nope. No, come on. You know you want to. Just cooperate, buddy. Why? Okay, there we go. Sorry. Little little glitch moment there for me. 30% wouldn't even get you down to your 1272, so a 40% drop again might be on the way, guys. I'm not trying to say that every Grayscale trust is going to drop 40%, but damn. I guess that's what I'm trying to say is damn. I don't know what else to say. $29 now, $17.26 might be where you go. If not, at least something that is probably just below these lows. You don't have to, and I want to be very clear. Just because I'm talking about these prices, this is an idea. And again, I want to remind you that as crazy as it would be, because I've never been wrong in my life, if I am wrong for the very first time ever, then maybe you don't drop that much at all. Maybe you do hold lows that are higher. Don't anticipate this to happen, but just prepare for it. It could happen, and if I really had to be honest with you, I'm for GLNK especially, I do think that you would go to 1726. That to me makes the most sense. You've broken below this low here. You're finding resistance at the 886. I mean, that's the only next logical area that you go. And when I say logical, I really mean that, because I couldn't see you dropping much more than that. That would just be a little bit wild. Link would have to dump. Something bad would have to happen to Link, and I don't think that it'll drop more than 20% personally. Oh, to be fair, it probably goes a little bit through the 2272. Right here at prior areas of support there. Yeah, you could say, but a 23% drop versus a 20% drop, that's just a matter of like probably 5% more on GLNK here. But anyways, GLNK, HZEN now, and we'll finish this too the same way that I finished all the other ones. I do expect GLNK to recover. I do expect it to see new all-time highs, okay? If we look at Link, we go to monthly time frame here, okay? And we look at this from the last bull cycle high to the current bear cycle low. Well, I guess not the current, but the past bear cycle high, the most recent one. I would assume that Chainlink itself sees targets not at $100, not at $200. Well, maybe at 230. I think it could see 230 as the all-time high, but I think it would go past that. I'm looking for targets that are around 434 to 570, if not higher. Chainlink really could see a $1,000 price by the end of the cycle, or even just above that. Okay, so if Chainlink, let's just say it goes to my minimum target that I could possibly fathom, and I don't think it stops here. I believe it's going to go to 434 or higher, but if it stops at 230, that's a 17.6x. If Chainlink sees a 17.6x from here, well, I would assume that not only would this see a 17.6x, but it would likely see more than that. A good rule of thumb might be double that, right? How do we know that? Well, if we look here at Chainlink, we look here and we go, let's just go with this last little finale phase, okay? From March of 2020 to May of 2021, okay? Oh, right. They top off beforehand. That's not going to help us. Okay, so let's go back to where this one started. From September 2023, the end of September, okay? September 20, oh wait. Did I say March 2020? Okay, hold on. I'm all backwards. Oh, you didn't exist in 2020. Okay, well, let's just do this. September of 2023, my bad. September of 2023, right here, that pump. Okay, it got me all screwed up. Low to high, that was a 298% pump, okay? GLNK, in that 298% pump, it saw a 17x almost, okay? 298, that's about a 4x right there. In that same amount of time, GLNK saw dramatically more growth. So I know it might sound crazy as it is, but if I expect Chainlink to pull a move that will likely be, what was it, a 17x at a minimum, if not more, then I would think that this thing sees, if not a 17x at a minimum, maybe you see a 30x. Maybe you see more than that. GLNK will, I think, truly will be worth over $1,000 and quite probably multiple thousands of dollars by the end of the cycle. It's worth $29 now. So, yes, looking good, GLNK. But for the time being, not looking so good. Maybe good for future investors, not good for current investors. HZEN looks like it's about to fall off the edge of a cliff here. You've got a very nice formed M pattern here. Is this a harmonic pattern? Is it? I don't know if it is. It could be. Maybe I shouldn't take that low. Maybe I should take this low. I don't know. It could be. Does this go to the 886? Because if it is, this might be a bullish bat. If it is. It goes pretty damn close to that 886, doesn't it? But not quite there. Not quite there. Anyways, let's just say it's not a harmonic, just to give my brain some relief here. It does look like an M pattern, nonetheless. M patterns oftentimes do go below this, and you look like you're basically about to go below there. So my assumption, because you are going to go below there probably, from a low to a high would be that you might move down to $1.51. Whoo! And that's about a 40% drop. That sounds about right. I don't think I even need to look at HZEN because I'm expecting a 20 Zen Horizon, a 20% to 30% drop across the board. So that already checks out with me. But let's go ahead and look. Man, Zen pumped and it dumped, bro. Definition of a blow off top. This is a pump and dump right here. Not that it's a scam, but I do think you might see lower prices than you've seen this whole cycle. Oh, maybe not. Okay, cool. You might come down and form a triple bottom. That's good. Okay, good. I like to see that. I mean, if Zen goes lower, HZEN's really going to go lower. But I don't think that you do. Okay, that's good. That's actually rather encouraging compared to what I thought when I first saw this. You're right at your 886. I do think you'll go below your 886. We're looking for a bottom right around here, so you probably see you could see a greater than 30% drop. Which if you do, maybe HZEN sees something that's on the lines of like a 46% drop, maybe even more. This one might drop more, you guys. And again, with this M pattern, it really wouldn't surprise me. It really wouldn't surprise me. Where's the next area to find support based on price? Basically right there, but that doesn't make sense on the fibs. So where's the next area? All the way down here. That might happen, man. HZEN might be walking down to $1. You're at 236 now. It's very important in moments like this to address the crowd holding HZEN. I'm not saying sell. Not financial. Not a financial advisor. Who am I to say what to do? There's nothing wrong with de-risking, and de-risking doesn't necessarily mean selling everything, but taking some off the table is never a bad thing, especially when faced with drops such as these, especially when faced with a pattern such as these. But understand, my friends, if you do sell here, you're selling at the worst possible time in about a year, in over a year's time, about a year's time. This is the worst possible time to sell. I think the time to sell is gone and past. You're better off just holding, and as crazy as it sounds, you're better off just holding through this 50, 40, 30% drop, whatever it might be, and just waiting for the recovery, buying more if anything. That would be my style. I'm okay with the punishment. I'm okay with the pain, man, because I look at it like, okay, I bought at a bad time. I just got to eat this loss for a second, buy more, make up for it, bring my dollar cost average down, and then on the rip back up. When I'm supposed to be neutral, I'll actually be making money, let alone when we actually start getting going, like, stuff like that. The reason why it's, I think, important to think like that is if you assume the price could go all the way down here, what happens if it doesn't? Because again, and I know it sounds funnier every time I say it, I know, but I could be wrong, right? As if that's a reality. No, I'm wrong all the time, you guys. I can be wrong. I can definitely be wrong. And that's why it's good practice to not try and sell even in the face of death. And maybe it won't be as bad as I'm thinking it'll be, but I think this one's got to drop more than any of the other ones. Zen, however, I do think is going to do very well. I think Zen Crypto is a really good crypto. I like the project. I like the fundamentals behind it, and I think that the market cap is relatively low. You have a lot of potential to grow, man. From a high to a low here, you could go up to about $442 by the end of the cycle or more, and that would give you at a minimum of about a 50x. If Zen sees a 50x, that doesn't mean that HZEN will get a 50x from here, but I would think that it does probably see more growth than that, right? By the time that Zen gets up here, let's say that was its all-time high at the end of the cycle, HZEN will have topped off already, so maybe let's cut that in half, let's say like a 22x, 21x by the time HZEN tops off. If Zen sees a 22x, I would think HZEN could double that, right? So let's look at like a 40 something x, and let's see if we have any fibs that would line up with this kind of area here. Okay, we don't have the low, so it's actually not. We don't have a low, so it wouldn't be appropriate. It would not be appropriate. We could take this high. I want to take this high. Let's just see real quick and see if you respect this at all. You do. Okay, good. You've got, all right. I feel comfortable with this. Good. Look at that. Right through the 1414 too. And that's actually a very, very common thing to do is go right through the 1414. If not, if Zen goes higher than I think it will and is by default higher in price where HZEN will top off, because when Zen tops off, HZEN will have already topped off. That's how it happens, right? They top off earlier, generally speaking. Not throughout the cycle, but early, like for the cycle peak. It's very possible HZEN could be worth $160 by the end of the cycle, and that would be like a 70-something x, maybe more. This thing is definitely 100x, multi-100x potential. If this thing is multi-100x potential, this thing is multi-100x potential. So definitely phenomenal prospects ahead. You're just going to have to suffer through some pain first, okay? I told you that we were going to talk about these ones a little bit more. ETCG is the one I saved the best for last. I truly did, but it's not going to save you. It's definitely going to go down. They're all going to go down. ETC USD, and I hope none of the Grayscale people are taking offense to me laughing, guys. We are all in the dumps with this, right? I don't care if you're in the stock markets or the crypto markets. Everybody's getting blasted lately. Maybe not as hard as the crypto markets, that's for sure, but everybody is. Let's see, low to high here, hitting the golden ratio. You're supposed to get above the 382 after bouncing off the golden ratio, damn it, and you just keep finding resistance at it. You found resistance here, you found resistance here, and you found resistance here. So you're probably going to go below the golden ratio, or at least lower than where you are now. Maybe look for a triple bottom. Let's see, a 20 to 30% drop. Hey, that would actually promote a triple bottom. You'd find support right here at prior areas of support. Nice. Good job, Ethereum Classic. I think that's really good structurally speaking. Triple bottoms are rare. They're rare not because you never see them, but they're rare because oftentimes when you see a triple bottom, it's just an inevitable quadruple, quintuple bottom that inevitably breaks down, right? That's why they're rare, because it's rare to see a successful triple bottom. But I think that this thing will provide that. So if you're going to drop that much, ETCG, no surprise at all, probably drops about, I'm going to guess, 40%. Let's see, low to high here. Where's that 1272 at? I can only imagine. I don't know. Oh, it's actually not that bad. 30% drop. I mean, maybe you only see a 30% drop. It's crazy that 30% at the beginning of this video sounded so terrible, and now it's like, okay, we'll take that. That's not bad. 47% drop could be on the table. I think $5.66 to $4.20, let's just keep it there, could definitely be where you go, okay? You're at 790 now. I'm expecting a market-wide drop, not just for crypto, but for any crypto-related stocks and probably stocks in general. If we're looking at this low to high, and I know I've been saying this for a couple days now for the crypto space, not for the Grayscale Trust. It's been like a week since I've talked about it, but I do think it's going to happen. It's just we're waiting on it to happen, this drop. After you're done dropping, ETCG, I really do think we'll see some immaculate growth. I'm expecting ETC to see new all-time highs by the end of the cycle. I don't think that you go below these lows. At least $896, which would promote I shouldn't say at least, but I would expect that a 49 to a 50x, something like that. Maybe let's keep it tame. Let's say 29x is where you are, even a little bit lower than that. Let's just give it a 25x. Maybe that's where you are by the time that ETCG tops off. If ETC's at a 25x from here by the time ETCG tops off, I would think you're higher than that. So you're probably going to be above $411. Perhaps even as high as $841. You could be higher than that as well. It just depends on how ETC performs by the end of the cycle, but definitely some bullish prospects here. ETCG is definitely a 100xable project, if not even a multi-100xable. I shouldn't say project, but a derivative of Ethereum Classic, right? Something that could definitely be worth multiple thousands of dollars by the end of the cycle. And you're at 790 now. And I believe it's the only one of these Grayscale trusts that's on a discount, not for sale at a premium price. So that's kind of appetizing too. But maybe there's a reason for that. I don't know. But I would expect even at your worst case scenario, you're going to see something on the lines of a 30x from here. Very strong chance of seeing 100x from here or more. Maybe even a multi-100x. We'll see how it goes. Hit the like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I'm very convinced that everything is about to move down, okay? So just prepare yourselves. Prepare yourselves. Prepare yourselves does not necessarily mean sell, okay? Do what you want. It's your money. Do what you want. Not a financial advisor, not financial advice. Do what you want. But I think preparing yourselves would just mean don't buy. Don't buy. Just wait. Wait and see how it plays out. Wait like a few days. Wait until next week and see if it goes down. Oh my goodness. Okay, for those of you who stuck around to the end of this, okay? I want to address a possibility, and I probably should have addressed this first thing. I feel so bad. I feel like I just gave you like terminal news, and now I'm about to take it away because there's a chance that none of these drops are as extensive as I think they are. Here's the chance, okay? And this is the dots that I connected with my most recent Bitcoin video, or maybe it was last night's Bitcoin video, okay? So this drop hasn't happened yet. I was expecting it to have happened already. There's a solid chance, and I wouldn't count on it, okay? It's better to expect the downside and be pleasantly surprised. That way you're not thrown off and you're not going to panic sell, right? Be prepared for the downside, okay? But what could save you from this drop is if it happens over the weekend, okay? if this drop, and because crypto, when it drops, it tends to be fast and ferocious, we could see a scenario where late Friday, after the stock market closes, going into early Monday. And in fact, this is where, let me show, I really hope anybody and everybody who sees this part of the video, you show it to the people who are panicking in Ethan's Discord. Shout out to Ethan. I know people get upset whenever we talk about lower prices, but I'm just going to be real with you, right? I don't care about your feelings, right? I care about your feelings, but not enough to lie to you. So I'm not going to lie to you. But if you don't like the information, it's just the information that we have. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. It's just what it is. But this is the dots that I connected. Hi, baby. But yeah. Sorry, guys. What I was saying was, if this drop happens over the weekend, and look at what's happened. Okay, so do you guys remember what happened on February 3rd? The market dumped. Crypto dumped before the stock market opened, and then once the stock market opened, the markets rallied because the tariffs were called off. They weren't. It was just a scariff, not a tariff play that happened that day. So we dumped before the stock market opened, and that was on a Monday. But crypto stocks were unaffected. They were unaffected by this. They didn't see that drop at all. Crypto dropped like this, but the crypto stocks didn't drop. Why? Because the stock market was closed. Okay, Bitcoin dropped a lot, crypto dropped a lot, but the stock market was closed. On this drop, look at that. It was on Monday. Same thing. We saw this drop, this very quick wick to the downside. And what happened once the market opened, the stock market opened, we were like, oh, the stock market's moving up. You crazy crypto people over the weekends that sold are just crazy. We're going to move up, right? You look at this over here. Okay, that was a Thursday. I feel like there was one that was a Monday. Fridays are also a day that this happens too. And Friday after the stock market closes could be when something like this happens as well. We go... I mean, here on Monday, that one's not a good example, but there are times, let's see, at this low over here, that was on a Monday as well, and we wicked up. The stock week was probably good. It moved up. This week over here, that was a Friday, so again, just kind of these end-of-week periods. That was a Friday as well. This was a Thursday, so that doesn't count. Monday right here at the low. I'm just saying, are the dots connecting? Does it make sense? There's a situation, a scenario that could play out here where this dump, this 20 to 30% dump across the markets. And when these dumps happen, if you didn't notice, and that was just for Bitcoin, not for the average altcoin, but the average altcoin performs very similarly. They're very quick. They're so fast, man. You could drop 20 to 30% in a matter of hours, and then in a matter of hours later, in the same day, be back up and close the day green. You know what I mean? Like it. So I'm not saying this in like a get on your knees and pray, like maybe if you're a good boy or a good girl, this will happen for you, if you're on the nice list and not on the naughty list. No, it's not like that. I genuinely mean that this is a possibility that could happen. So I'm sorry to bring it up at the end of the video. I hope some of you guys allow or at least address this to some people that might not have watched the whole video, who turned it off because they're tired of me talking about their projects going down. I know that cannot be a fun video for everybody to watch. They're not the funnest videos for me to make either, but you gotta have good energy around it, man. You just gotta deal with it. You gotta take it as it is. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's a part of it. It literally is just a part of it. Nothing moves up forever. Nothing moves down forever. So once you understand that, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just like a rainy day. Rainy days happen. If you like rainy days, then it's like a dry sunny day. Dry sunny days happen too. Okay. But all I'm trying to say here, guys, is if this drop happens over the weekend, which I think, being that tomorrow's Friday, there's a solid chance that it could happen. After Friday, when the stock market closes, or on Friday when the stock market closes, to Monday when the stock market opens, that's a lot of time to drop 20 to 30% and recover. So if that happens, crypto might be affected. All these coins that we talked about, they might do exactly what I said, but these Grayscale trusts might not be affected at all. Crypto stocks might not be affected at all. And that wouldn't surprise me if it happens, not because I'm grasping at straws and I'm trying to find some passive or a spark of light in the dark for hope. No, it's because that's what we've seen a lot happen this cycle, actually. Our Mondays, specifically, before the stock market opens, we dump and then we come back up, and it's as if nothing ever happened. So I'm sorry to get all bipolar on you. I've been very bearish throughout this whole video. But there is genuine hope. It's not just like BS hope, like a fart in the wind. It's actual real. It's a real possibility. So this is why it's a bad idea to sell. Because all the data, all the logistics of everything I said based around the underlying assets could be 100% pinpoint accurate. But it happens on the weekend when the stock market's closed. So Grayscale doesn't care. Because if it recovers by the time that Grayscale opens up, then why would they sell? Why would they panic? They're not going to look back. They're going to look forward, okay? I'm going to leave it with that. This was a longer video than I intended to make, but I'm glad I remembered that at the end, because while I am trying to put you guys on alert, I want you to be aware of the possibilities here. And you should definitely be aware that those are possibilities. Do not count on this moment of hope. Don't hold your breath over it. It doesn't have to happen in the way that I'm saying if you don't want the prices to go down. But I don't want you to be left totally pessimistic either, because we really don't know how this is going to happen. And if it happens the way that I've been explaining it for like 5 minutes now or more, then it's nothing to worry about for the Grayscale Trust. It's just the underlying assets. This is where one of those times it actually is valuable to hold the derivatives. You're not at risk of moving down over the weekend. I got nothing else for you guys. I hope you liked the video. If you did, hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. And you guys have really been through it a lot, man. You guys have been through a lot of shit this cycle. And I really hope for those of you that have stuck around and continued to DCA, continued to buy, you're just holding and sticking to your guns, I really hope that these next months are everything that we've been expecting them to be, and that you can see the light and that you start to see where these things are going. Because at no point in this cycle have I ever considered, other than for LTCN, that new all-time highs are off the table. And LTCN, it's not that all-time highs are off the table, but with that ETF, it can take those off the table a little bit. But if the ETFs are getting pushed back, if they don't get approved this cycle, if that becomes reality, there's no way in hell that LTCN doesn't see a new all-time high. And even to get to its all-time high area, that's phenomenal. It's still going to be good growth. Everybody who bought this cycle is going to be in the green, and that's all we can ask for at the end of the day, is to make money. I'm rambling. I'm talking. Hit the like button. Subscribe. Thank you all for being here. And yes, I really like this shirt too. I think it's a nice shirt. All right, bye-bye.